Yeah, I wanted to do a video here on these modern Lady Schwinn bikes. They actually come with smaller wheel set. I think it's like maybe 1.25. It's got aluminum rims here, and they've actually got a taper here in the middle of the rim for some better strength. They stay more true. But one of the problems here I've noticed with people that have front baskets, this little cable housing, the angle of it sometimes interferes with the V-brakes, and you know, it can make the brake stick on one side or the other. And also this one-piece crank, they usually come pre-assembled, and there's a lot of drag. There's not a lot of oil in there or a lot of grease in there, so they'll loosen up. You got to make sure this is locked down right with the lock washer, has enough pressure on it to hold that. And they come with a white leather seat that's very hard, so I've replaced this with a comfort seat. But the main sticking point for this is the back V-brake setup. I even bent this out somewhat, but it would stick on one side when it wasn't bent. And I wanted to put maybe a sharper angle tube on here to get it inside, but still that would be a pinch point. So I don't really like the way that's designed with the way the basket mounts on there and the way the brakes go. That's always this is adjusted and works fine now, but that's maybe something you got to bend out or just work with on the tension here as well. And the little luggage rack's okay, I guess. The back derailleur's kind of mediocre. It's they're kind of hard to adjust, and they're really easy to get out of alignment if you bump them. And this 6-speed shifter is really hard to get set up right. It's a little clunky. It's not as well indexed as most of them. It'll work, but it doesn't work as well. But the main point is with these single one-piece cranks here is there's a lot of drag on the ball bearings in there. And even as you get one of these bikes now from a store, like a big box store or whatever, they may even have steel bearings in a smaller diameter here, but if they're still steel bearings and they're in there and it's a one-piece crank, it's going to be a lot of drag. So I suggest if you get one of these bikes, maybe spend some money to get sealed bearings and a 3-piece crank on this, so it'll be a lot more pleasurable ride. There's really not a lot of good resale value on something like this. You'd be even hard pressed to sell it for like $50 on, you know, Craigslist or whatnot. Women just won't ride bikes like this in the long term. I know it's nice that it has this drop bar like that, but I find if you get something that's a good, comfortable, smooth ride, you'll probably have a lot pleasurable riding experience as a woman than if you have something like this that's got a lot of drag on there. They really don't put a lot of grease in these when they ship these. The rims are okay, but like there's better hubs and wheel sets like that. So I'd say maybe you get one of these bikes for like $300, $350 now, but I would say that, you know, maybe go around $500, get a better bike, a better like aluminum frame configuration that's lighter, and sealed bearings, and should do a lot better to make somebody want to ride more. Okay, I wanted to add an afterword here. Some of the bikes actually, the one I showed you actually has this size bearing on it for the one-piece crank, and you've got the torque spread out over a wider area, where this one, most modern bikes now are coming with a smaller diameter bearing set, and these wear out even faster. These are no good. And even the replacement bearings you get for these, it's almost the same bearings as like a tricycle, and they'll wear out pretty fast. They don't last in the long run. They actually last not as long as even the one-piece cranks. So what I meant by a sealed bearing is you've got these cartridge ones that go in here. They're easy, they're sealed, they're easy to swap out, and they have a lot less drag and a lot less play, whereas these will grind up the bearings. Water gets in there as well. And these are probably the worst kind of bearings to have. You'll see these little pieces like this that tighten up outside the bearings. And those are really no good either. It's just a lot of drag that you don't need when you're riding. And that's all. I just wanted to show you like a 3-piece crank like that's on this Trek. You can see that it's threaded inside the frame. So what you're looking for when you buy a bike is you're actually looking for a frame that has threads like that in there as well. And like some of the ones that have the cheaper threaded unsealed bearings, you may be able to get a cartridge that will thread in here like that, and it threads in over on the other side, on the right side, and then it comes out onto the left like this. And you'll need a special tool to thread those in. And somebody also a viewer wanted to see the setup on the back brake, on the mount here, how it went on a Trek. And there's that too.